let's say I get raped, or I get starved to death, or I don't get to sleep, or things like that once in a while is only not that bad if I've been told that this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
If I've been told different, I can stay away from that and get better and start learning to relive my life, even if something has happened as I was younger.
Right.
So there's a lot of different elements that come into play, not only with sex trafficking, because a lot of kids are taken and without even let's say I'm not a runaway.
Right.
A lot of people think that kids that are sex trafficked are runaways.
Right.
They are kids that are kidnapped. Look in the news when the little girl was walking with her mom and the guy pulled up and snatched her out of her mom's arms and took off with her. She was 8 years old, I think she was, or something.
Right.
Those are things that really, really happen in this world. They're not always caught on tape. They're not always talked about.
Right.
And they're not always found.
Right.
So a lot of these kids that are missing may not have been bad kids. They may just have disappeared because somebody has taken them.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Meet the Shoe. I'm Sade.
I'm Danina.
And we have a special guest today, Lisa Ross. So today we'll be talking about sex trafficking, abuse, manipulation, and the trauma or the effects it has on the person, the victim that's going through the sex trafficking. Lisa Ross, what do you do for a living, honey?
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Ross, and I am the owner of Elevate Marketing Solutions. It's a marketing agency. I'm also a co-director of an AAU basketball program, and I'm also mother of 3 kids.
Hey.
Yeah, girl. Excuse my voice. I am battling the cold. Trust me, it is not the coronavirus. So, we're going to finish and continue this. And, yeah, if I sound like Mickey Mouse, don't worry about it. Next week, I'm going to be better. So, today, we've been looking at, hearing in the news about different sex traffickers. The biggest thing in the latest couple of days is the guy named Lawrence Ray, which was an FBI snitch informant in the past that became friends with people in the higher ups like governors and commissioners and so forth. So he was pretty up there with the big wigs. So this man has a daughter that was attending college at Sarah College, and somehow he befriended all her friends and in turn end up being friends with them and being their so-called pimp or manipulator, and selling them, selling their bodies for his gain, profit for himself. This has been going on all over the world, sex trafficking. It's been a real big issue, and it's really it's bad, and it's just, I don't know when we're gonna find an end to it, because a lot of women that's been sex trafficked are missing. We don't never see them again, and the ones we do see, they go through a lot of emotional and mental problems and later on in their lives because of it. So, what you guys think?
Well, I think that he got away with it for so long. He had been doing it for 10 years, the guy Lawrence. And these were his daughter's friends. So he was able to get away with it for so long because they trusted him. They were younger, he was older, so he was like a father figure to him. And then he started using them, as sex slaves. So I think that what we're finding is that not just women, men as well, when you're manipulated into doing something under someone else's gain, people take advantage of that as far as seeing a weakness, in you. And if they notice that, you're vulnerable, they'll prey on your vulnerability to do what they want you to do. So I'm seeing that's why he got away with it so long. 10 years is a pretty long time to get someone to continuously give, they continuously gave him their money for that long, for, whatever reason. But I mean, that's not, every case as far as sex trafficking or manipulation, but I guess that's just was one, situation.
Well, I think even just about this case, but in sex trafficking in general, what someone does, let's say that's seeking out to try to traffic women or manipulate women, that person has a certain set of skills or mindset that they are using their power to take over or take from someone that is weaker than them. So they have a level of power that they stick to. And so, for an example, this man had certain skill levels. Being in the FBI, he knew how to manipulate. He knew how to run different things and how to hide things.
Yeah.
So that being said, he was able to manipulate people to a certain point where you didn't really know what was going on. But the way to really step back and look at this is when you see someone that has been manipulated in some way, shape, or form, or abused, you can see a change in behavior. You can see that they're more sticking to themselves, they're unsure of everything, or they're emotionally distraught a lot of the time. It doesn't mean that they're all being abused or they're all being taken advantage of, but normally when that happens in your life when you're younger, it tends to happen more as you get older because you think that that's normal unless you've been given an opportunity to talk about it and learn what's right and wrong or have somebody teach you that this is not how your life should be. You're stuck thinking, if I listen to what this person says and I trust them, that I'm going to be okay, even though I might have to deal with a little bit of abuse, meaning let's say I get raped or I get starved to death or I don't get to sleep or things like that once in a while is only not that bad if I've been told that this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
If I've been told different, I can stay away from that and get better and start learning to relive my life, even if something has happened as I was younger.
Right.
So there's a lot of different elements that come into play, not only with sex trafficking, because a lot of kids are taken and without even let's say I'm not a runaway.
Right.
A lot of people think that kids that are sex trafficked are runaways. They are kids that are kidnapped. Look in the news when the little girl was walking with her mom and the guy pulled up and snatched her out of her mom's arms and took off with her. She was 8 years old, I think she was, or something.
Right.
Those are things that really, really happen in this world. They're not always caught on tape. They're not always talked about. And they're not always found.
Right.
So a lot of these kids that are missing may not have been bad kids. They may just have disappeared because somebody has taken them.
Right.
There's a lot of different elements to all of that stuff. But the abuse itself in general, when you're used to being abused, you think that that's okay.
Okay.
I ran into someone that we talked about, a child close to this area that was 5 years old, and his neighbors would hear him getting abused.
Wow.
And would call the police. And he, to this point, will hurt people on purpose and think that that's okay.
And where was this?
This is a learned behavior.
This is here in Rochester.
Okay.
Yep. And there he would do things like he would hurt animals and think that that's okay because he grew up thinking if you're hurt, that's my dad. He loves me, but he's beating me up and slamming me against the wall. That this must be how you're supposed to live because I'm an absorbent sponge that need information and caring and affection. And this is what he's being told and taught to me. This is how I'm going to live my life. So at 5 years old, you're trying to kill yourself,
right?
And you're hurting animals and you're hurting people because you think that this is normal. You've never been told anything different.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference through all that.
Because just like they say in treatment or any kind of treatment you go to, the dad abused the mom abused the child, the child kicks the dog.
Called a learned behavior.
Learned
Always.
behavior.
And they do that in psychology. You'll read all about it where it starts from one family to the next. Racism is another thing. If I'm taught that this is how racism is supposed to, that I'm not supposed to like black people or I'm not supposed to like Hispanic people because my dad, my grandpa, my mom, everybody says so, that I'm trained in my brain to think that way.
Right.
And that's why it still exists in this world is because it's a learned behavior handed down, as in abuse.
Right.
Example, you said the exact key to it all. If I'm a little boy and I watch my mom getting abused by my dad, my dad is supposed to keep saying, I love you, I love you.
Right.
That's in their brain saying, well, I'm going to hit my girl even though she says I love you, and I say I love you, and that's what my dad did. Why not? What's wrong with it? Because they've never been taught that you don't physically abuse someone, whether it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Either way, that's not okay. But in their brain, they've been taught that is okay.
So what do you think that's going to happen to him? I mean, he's got off before, or I should say, he's got pushed to the side because he gave the FBI valuable information about, top,
Right.
government officials pertaining to the things that they were doing illegally. Now he's caught again for sex trafficking and extortion of people. What do you think is going to happen to him?
I'm thinking he's going to get finally just due done to him because it's exposed now.
Okay.
It's in the news now. Nobody's going to let that live down, and you have witnesses that has come against him now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what he took $500,000 from one girl.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing is,
Yeah, that's
we're
a
talking about is we're
$500,000.
talking about young girls, young
Right.
women.
Right.
They're very vulnerable. He's a
Right.
60-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
He just took advantage of what they did, their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. So they see that in the eyes. If you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
people are more empathetic to a child or younger person who's innocent
Mm-hmm.
rather than, let's say, government officials who've done their dirt
Mm-hmm.
and he's exposed them. There's a totally different thing. I think he's going to get quite a few years. I don't think he'll be getting out anywhere.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's discuss the situation that's happened in the past week as well with Gayle King and Snoop Dogg and the discussion of Kobe Bryant and his rape case that was back in 2003. Do you think that it was justified that she brought that situation up in the Lisa Leslie interview? Do you think that by it being, though he was a celebrity and he's no longer here to defend himself, even though it hasn't been brought up out of all the great things that this guy has done, that all this time that nobody brought it up, but now that he's dead and gone, do you think that it was justifiable for her to even bring it up, especially being as though he was a great friend of Lisa Leslie?
Right.
Like, what was the point of bringing it up? Also, another thing that is like a double-edged sword when it comes to women, like where we just got done discussing the situation with the Lawrence Ray, this man that had manipulated young women, had extorted them for, millions of dollars. Well, actually, the girls and their family for millions of dollars. And then you have Kobe Bryant, who was actually extorted as well.
Exactly.
They didn't discuss that. Yeah, he was brought up on charges for rape. At the same time, the girl involved saying that to say that she had 3 different sperms in her. She went to the police 2 days after the fact, and she went and got her a lick. Just like the guy Lawrence Ray, he manipulated these women. He went and got a lick from them younger girls. The girl involved in Kobe Bryant's situation, she got a lick. Her boyfriend told her. Someone told her, the rumor says that her boyfriend told her to go say that Kobe Bryant took it from her. And the courts couldn't even convict him. The courts couldn't even bring charges up on him. But here it is, as the community wants to convict him after he's gone, out of all these great things that he's done as a father, a husband, or whatever. The girl that was involved in the case, you never heard of her. She never popped up no more. No. She took her $17 million and she went on because she seen the lick, she got it. Nobody was mad at her about it. Nobody even talked about it that much after it. But here comes Gayle King. She brings it of mention.
Dead wrong.
And then now everybody's scrutinizing Snoop Dogg about it. So what do you think about that as far as the statement that Snoop Dogg had made about, because he was defending his friend?
He's very, very, I think personally, when he's defending his friend, that's fine, you can defend your friend, but you don't threaten the life of someone else.
Okay. And why, wait, and what do you think, what did you feel by him speaking? What did you feel that how he threatened Gayle King? What did you take as a threat?
I thought the way that he said it's over, you're over, or something, basically coming at her as if it's like we're coming for you. We're coming for your life. Okay. People say that they're coming for you. They're coming to do something to you.
Okay.
They're not just going to go, I'm going to go on on TV and talk bad about you. They're going to come to you, come get you, do whatever they have to do to you.
Okay.
But I also think that Gayle King should have a little bit more empathy for losing, especially to Lisa Leslie. She's lost one of her best friends.
Right.
That was in the game.
Right.
And his daughter, let's not forget.
Right. We're talking about a child. Children on the plane.
But I will defend Gayle on one thing. When those reporters have that stuff in their ear during interviews, there's someone else on the other end making her ask those questions as her profession.
Okay.
Think about that for a moment. When you're watching the news, not saying that this happened, I'm just saying let's double-edged sword, let's talk about it. Was someone in her ear telling her what to say like all the other newscasters? Think about it.
Right.
Was this person on the other end saying, I want to get something out of her because she knows something?
If she's so seasoned, she should know not to ask questions like that.
Right.
Oh, have you ever seen him actually hook him up with girls and stuff?
Other women or anything.
No.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't ask a question like that, talking about you would never know it as his friend.
But let me ask this question.
Here.
If someone said to you, Danita, or you, Sade, and I said, you're going to lose your job if you don't ask this question. Let's say I threw a fit before the interview and said, I am not asking that question at all. I feel it's inappropriate. And I said to you, you're going to lose your job that pays you $100,000, $200,000 a year.
Right.
And you're going to lose your job if you don't ask one question.
Right. Right.
Whether she says yes, no, or otherwise when you ask it.
Right.
What would
Here's
you do?
the thing.
You're kind of put in this situation.
Here's the situation.
That's my double-edged sword of it. I play devil's advocate sometimes.
Right. Here's the situation, though. She's seasoned. She's Oprah.
True.
She's Oprah's friend. She knows what time it is, right? Being as though she had to have known, because she's an older woman,
Right.
that there was gonna be a problem.
Correct.
You're talking to someone's friend. He was like a brother to her, right? And so therefore, you have to have the questions written out before you go to the interview. This is Lisa Leslie. This ain't nobody on the level that we're on right now. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nobody that's on our platform right now that we're on. We haven't made it to that level yet, right? So these people are on a higher level as well as him. He was at one of the highest levels that he could be at as far as a human being excelling in life, right? And so she knew for a fact the question that she was going to have to ask him. She knew the question that she was going to have to ask him before the interview even came.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I want to get out of people is, do we know that? Because that's really messed up on her behalf. Anyway.
Yeah, you know the question as the journalist before you even ask the question, regardless of what's in your ear. Right. You know the question. It could be in my ear all day, and I know how to fix it. At the same time, I feel her responsibility as a woman was to say, hey, and then this is what happened to the woman, the accuser. The accuser said this. The accuser said that. If you were going to pick that point to bring up, especially on his death, be fair to his wife, his children, his friends, and his family, and say what it is, and say the part, even if you're reading in court documents, because we are all speculating, we do know for a fact, like 50 Cent said, are we going to convict him as a people? What's the point of bringing it up?
Right.
Because the courts couldn't even do it. We're not the law. We ain't above the law either.
The good outweighs the bad with him. Think about it. He's getting accused. He was not charged, but he was accused.
Is accused.
Yeah, and that should have been thrown out. There are rumors all the time.
Right.
About everything. It should not even been brought up. But I think the problem that people wanted to see her ask that question, wanted to see Lisa Leslie say no.
Yeah.
To confirm that no, he did not do that.
Right.
Coming from a valuable source.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, again, I'm going through devil's advocate. I'm playing that again.
Right.
Is she might have known the question. She might have not wanted to say it, but she had a job. And then for his best friend to say no. Right. And lay it to rest. Right. Maybe that was her point, but it turned out to backfire on her.
Right.
Right.
Maybe that was a point. Maybe she wanted to say, you know what, I want her to say no and get this over with so people can stop talking about him in a negative light and be more positive. Now, she's getting death threats all the time. Oprah was on the Today Show crying about it. Like, she's upset. I understand. But you also know when you're in the media in front of millions of people what to say and what not to say.
Right. That's true.
All the time.
And then I have to say on the defense of Snoop Dogg, he was saying, well, we're going to come get you as far as internet. we're gonna. That's why he said the statements that he made. I'm not gonna repeat them, but he said the statements that he made about his opinion about her.
Right.
He wasn't saying I'm gonna physically harm.
yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna send my boys at you. Oh,
No.
I'm gonna do. No, he
It was
didn't
gonna
say
be
that. He
boxing.
exactly.
Right.
He was saying he was gonna use the same
Platforms.
for his platform to verbally speak against her like he did, just like she did against his homeboy. That's what I gathered out of it.
Right.
So what do you guys feel as far as it's summed up now, this point going forward? How, as being in the eye, because we're podcasting and things going further, do you feel that you have to put a lid on it? Like, we need to talk things in kid glove form, or do we need to say how we feel and say what we mean what we say, like she did? Because she said what she said. She didn't never really apologize about it. She apologized stating that's not what she meant, and that's how she meant. She still stood on what she meant. So that's what I'm saying. When you get in these positions to speak your opinion and be of the public, is it our job to, like I said, put a lid on it, talk with kid gloves?
Mindful and respectful of other people's feelings, because again, his family, specifically Kobe Bryant, his family's mourning.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got he lost a daughter. They've lost him and his daughter. His wife.
Friends.
His wife is sitting there that has lost a lot of her family.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful and respectful of other people, because when you're in a public platform, you can be angry and go at somebody, and you have an opinion. Everybody has a right to it, but be mindful on how you express yourself.
Right.
I think, and you can be angry and you can come back and fight with anger, but sometimes fighting with anger is not always the best way to do it. Ignore it sometimes, or move on to another subject and say, you know what, you are wrong. You don't have to go into detail and say, I'm coming to get you. I'm gonna slam you on the internet. Da da da. Just be mindful of other people and their feelings. Gayle King was not at that time. At that point in time, she was not mindful or respectful of Vanessa and her other kids that are here.
Right.
After losing her husband and her child.
Okay.
She was not.
Okay. Do you feel that, as far as her and Oprah Winfrey, by her being Oprah Winfrey's best friend, do you feel that they only attack the male celebrity? Like,
that's what it's looking like right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking like they're attacking the black male celebrity. I have not yet to see them talk about Harvey Weinstein or any of those other guys yet.
Right.
But they were really close to white counterparts.
Right.
In pictures with
Actually,
him,
Gayle has pictures with him quite a bit on almost every single person.
Yeah.
Like Bill Cosby, she has pictures with him. She has on Weinstein. She's got all these pictures up. They show her after this interview. They blasted a bunch of pictures of her with all of these different people that have been accused of different sexual acts towards other people.
Right.
Or been accused of, or however
but
you want to say
it. But she is blasting more of the black male.
Right. And I don't know if it's more of pro women or anti men. I'm not sure how to
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can be pro women doesn't mean you have to bash men.
Right.
Or anything, in that particular order. But you can also, and you don't have to be anti-men, you can be what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
How do you build yourself? You don't do it by doing this.
No.
Right.
You don't go and start trying to take the negative out of everything all the time.
Right.
Do you think that the things that Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King are doing right now, do you think that would tarnish their image? Do you think that people are going to start bringing up their dirty laundry to show backlash and show them how it feels?
I think Oprah needs to stay out of it. She can support her friend all she wants to, but she also has to stay out of it, considering she has the Weight Watchers brand. She has a lot of branding that's gone into her lifetime.
Right.
To ruin it over a person that has verbally made a comment that you were not there, you did not tell her not to do it, you did not tell her to do it.
Right.
You need to step aside and let her fight her own battle. You can support her from afar. You don't have to be involved in it, because once you stick yourself involved, now you're gonna be guilty by association.
Right.
You're really in it.
Right.
You're not just over here on left field watching and saying, I support my friend, period. You're going, you don't need to do this, and she doesn't need to do this, and she's getting death threats and blah, blah, blah. That's fine if you want to bring it up and you want to discuss it at one point, but you cannot sit there and ruin your branding. And you're trying to brand Weight Watchers, which is spending millions of dollars on TV to brand yourself. WW instead of Weight Watchers.
Right.
And you're going to tell me that you're going to waste your brand and what you built all your life after being abused as a child, and you move it this way. You go over here and you stay over in far left field, and I can support them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all there is.
Okay, so with that being said, we are going to end this segment. And thank you for tuning in to the Meet the Shoe podcast.
Yes.
Please tune in every Monday, 5 a.m. We will release weekly a new podcasting. Thank you.